wind. Aircraft tend to avoid flying near these kinds of cloud because of the unusually high turbulence associated with them. This turbulence is evidence of a flow of scalar energy that is attempting to redress the imbalance in the energy field created by the mountain. Here we see lenticular clouds over Jefferson Mountain and over Lord Howe Island in New Zealand. Now here is a really interesting cloud, one that is hugging a military aircraft. What is revealing about this is that the aircraft is causing a disturbance to the energy field around it. Notice that the disturbed field is only on the top side of the aircraft. This aircraft obviously has wing design features that enable it to tap energy from the scalar energy field, or to extract what is known as free or zero-point energy. Have you noticed that the clouds do not blow off with the wind created by the aircraft, even though it is flying supersonic? We mentioned also that the lenticular clouds over the mountains also do not move with the wind. The cloud formations exist only within the disturbed energy space. This observed phenomenon provides a significantly different insight into how clouds are actually formed, as compared to what you were taught at school. This shows a similar cloud formation, but associated with a very different type of aircraft. This is a military drone which travels at only 135 miles per hour. The energy field disturbance is surrounding a particular spot on the aircraft as a bubble cloud. The energy field disturbance is caused by powerful scalar wave devices that are on board the aircraft. The military obviously has extremely strong interest in scalar waves simply because of the infinite energy that is within the scalar energy field. As we said earlier, we are not talking atomic bomb energies here, but much, 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 much greater. At this point, I would like to mention something about the history of discovery associated with scalar wave energy. Scalar wave energy is not a recent discovery. It was first predicted by James Clerk Maxwell in the mid-1800s, when he succeeded in linking for the first time the apparently separate phenomena of electricity and magnetism through his famous Maxwell's equations. Just as all new ideas that threaten to shake up established thinking are resisted, so also was it with Maxwell. His equations were not readily accepted by the scientific establishment of the day. So, after his death, Oliver Heaviside replaced the electromagnetic potential field, or scalar field, by force fields, thereby reducing the original 20 equations down to the 4 equations that are taught in schools today as Maxwell's equations. The modifications were made to Maxwell's original equations simply because the scalar energy content was inconveniently too large, as compared with the vector electromagnetic content. This meddling with Maxwell's equations has meant that most physicists and engineers who are not involved in scalar energy research are generally unfamiliar with scalar energy. First experimental demonstration of scalar waves and scalar energy dates back to 1905 and Nikola Tesla. Here you can see him sitting in front of a scalar antenna. This shows his magnifying transmitter generating millions of volts. The arcs are some 7 meters long. And this is a tower that he constructed as a wireless power transmission system, a scalar energy transmitter. So now let's examine a few more pictures of scalar wave patterns. Again, as a reminder, here is our computer-simulated scalar wave pattern. And this is the sand under shallow water at the seashore. The sand is obviously acting according to phase-locked scalar waves. And here are sand waves over sand dunes in the desert. From this view from an aircraft window, we see mountain ranges that are arranged into similar scalar wave patterns, but obviously they are on a much bigger scale. This satellite view of a mountain range in Nevada shows an even bigger scalar wave pattern. Imagine, if you will, the energy that can create mountain ranges. But remember, we have already mentioned that the energy within every 1 cubic centimeter of space is beyond anything we can make meaningful comparison with. It is simply way off the energy measurement scale. Now this photograph shows that scalar waves are not a phenomenon local to Earth. This is Victoria crater on Mars. The pattern is very beautifully scalar. And here are scalar wave created dunes inside the Endurance crater, also on Mars. And here is a fingerprint. Do you realize the significance of this in how we might begin to view ourselves? Especially when we consider that every human has a uniquely different fingerprint pattern. And we also possess a uniqueness of spirit. But look at this, a fingerprint pattern within the Orion Nebula. Interestingly, NASA describes these waves as gravitational waves. So here we are linking gravity to scalar energy, which, bear in mind, is linked to scalar waves that are time-reversed phase-locked waves. As we said at the beginning, there are no more particles. Everything is waves. In case you are starting to feel that only sand and clouds and cosmic dust are involved in scalar wave patterns, look at this photo. This shows thermal waves within the surface of Saturn's moon Enceladus. These appear as stationary hot and cold bands, just like the dermal ridges of your fingerprint, or the bands of rippled sand, or the parallel bands of clouds. Here we see atoms grouping themselves together when they are freely floating in a laser beam. They naturally form a cubic crystal structure. This is how they must arrange themselves in order to achieve maximum phase-locked resonance connection with each other, or in other words, to achieve a condition of minimum energy. Crystals are simply a three-dimensional arrangement created as each atom wave becomes phase-locked with surrounding atoms. It is just a three-dimensional version of the two-dimensional sand ripples on the seashore. Hollow shapes are also the handicraft of scalar energy waves. The honeybee is obviously a scalar wave generator. Again, notice the hexagonal shape of honeycombs. And here we see resonance patterns like we saw with the sand on a vibrating plate and the vibrating water drop. But here the patterns are within the rod cells that form the retina of a frog's eye. The meanders of a river are not produced by chance. They also result from scalar wave energy. The water in the river is simply interacting with the scalar energy field around it, and its meandering is an energy transfer mechanism. We will discuss more about energy transfer mechanisms shortly, but as a side observation, let me mention that the meandering of a river displays a relationship to the mathematical number pi. Have you ever noticed how water droplets never take a straight path down a window pane? Even its so-called surface tension forces that shape the raindrop are scalar wave generated. Have you ever noticed how all natural paths tend to meander, like this cow path across this meadow pasture? The ocean tides are also resonance-locked scalar waves. They show us that there is a phase-locked scalar wave pattern existing between the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun. In the 6th century, Pythagoras was teaching his students that there were three kinds of music: the music produced by instruments, the music of the human body, and the music of the cosmos, and that the different types of music were interrelated, and that ailments caused by discord in the music of a person's body could be healed by music from an instrument, and that the earthly music made by instruments was only a faint echo of the music of the heavens. Until this point, we have been concerned principally with recognizing scalar energy wave resonances. In the next portion of this video, I would like to discuss energy transfers within the scalar energy field. As children, we all played, I'm sure, with spinning tops. If you did you know that you were playing with one of the greatest scalar energy transfer toys ever invented? The appeal of a spinning top is its otherworldly behavior. Try to knock it over and it straightens right back up. Try to stop it and it evades your grasp. But with the spinning top, we see the object that is spinning. In this